Gold is losing its sheen? Well, yes, and here's why. Gold prices took a bit of a dive on Tuesday, hitting its lowest levels in over 2 weeks. Seems like worries about the Middle East crisis calming down and some investors deciding to cash in on their gains were the main reasons behind the drop. Spot gold was down and so was US gold futures. The previous session was a rough ride for gold, plunging over 2% in what was its biggest one-day tumble in over a year. It seems like once Iran said it wasn't planning to retaliate after an Israeli drone attack, folks felt a bit less worried about a bigger conflict. Gold prices have taken a hit recently, with analysts pointing to reduced expectations of imminent rate cuts by the US Federal Reserve as a primary factor. According to reports, the possibility of a rate cut might not materialize until September. This has also led to a decrease in demand for gold as investors view it less favorably as a hedge against inflation. Moreover, the strengthening of the US dollar and the rise in bond yields have contributed to the downward pressures on gold prices, exacerbating the trend. Also looking forward, all eyes are on the economic data coming out of the US later this week, especially GDP figures on Thursday and the personal consumption expenditures print on Friday. If those numbers come in better than expected, it might delay any hopes of rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, which could mean more trouble for gold prices in the short term. Gold has experienced a remarkable surge in value recently, jumping over 50% since February 2020, just before the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the globe. In the last 2 months, the price has surged nearly 20% in the last 2 months alone. Unlike many other commodities, gold's value is predominantly driven by investor perception rather than specific utility. Unlike stocks and bonds, it doesn't provide dividends or coupon payments yet. Despite lacking these features, gold remains highly coveted. Central banks have been the primary drivers of the market. Institutional and government buyers, particularly in China, have displayed a significant appetite for gold, further propelling its prices. Going forward, this week's US inflation and GDP data will provide more clarity on the US Fed rate cut, which again in turn will give more clarity as to how gold prices will behave going forward.